So there's a thing in Tai Chi. If you're new to Tai Chi, there's a thing, and it's called Tai Chi is an internal thing. Now, if you've been in martial arts before, if you've studied Tai Chi before, it's not a new thing. It's like the old thing, but it is a thing. And today I'm going to talk about that thing. And if you've ever wondered about what is it about Tai Chi that makes it internal, I'm going to tell you all about that in today's lesson. So stick around. I have to admit, I feel a little silly saying this every single time after 77 days together, but here goes. Hey everybody, it's David-Dorian Ross from david-dorianross.com and taichifit.net, and welcome to another lesson in Learn Tai Chi at Home. It is day number 77 of 100 Days of Tai Chi. This is whole video series thing that we're doing where I am teaching you how to do the traditional Yang style long form, 103 movements in 100 days. Today's number 77. If this is your first time here at this channel, and there's a lot of different reasons why people come to this channel, like for example, if you are looking for better health, or maybe you want to live longer but feel younger, if you're looking for inner peace and tranquility, or if you want to defend yourself against attackers, those are all amazing reasons to learn Tai Chi, and that's what you're going to get on this channel. Here's how you get started. All you have to do is hit the subscribe button, and then we'll just get started because I've got a whole lot of lessons that I want to share with you. Now in today's lesson, we've got new movements, which are old movements, meaning that we have done them before in the series, and when we do that, I'm going to stick a little link right up there for you to watch the first time we've done it, because you might want to compare the notes, see if I left anything out or see if I changed anything. But every time we do a movement over again, I try to bring something new to the table, a little extra twist, a little extra nuance. So today's movements are single whip, which we've done many times, and wave hands like clouds. So, hey, without any further ado, let's just jump right into the lesson. All right, the movement today is single whip plus wave hands like clouds. And the first thing I'm going to do is try to demonstrate it. Now, I'm going to take a little pause right here because I'm trying a brand new camera and a brand new microphone. Let's see if it works. And here we go. From the end of grasping the bird's tail. Wave hands like clouds is actually counted in this routine as 3 steps, whereas really interestingly in the 108 movement routine, which is it's the same routine but just counted differently, we count this as 1 step, or 1 move, wave hands like clouds. But in this movement, we're actually learning, or this lesson, we're learning 4 moves. Single whip is 1, and 1, 2, 3 wave hands like cloud steps is 4 movements altogether. So let's first take a look at the footwork here. Now the footwork is a basic side step, but what I want to show you is 2 things. Number one, as I begin this movement from the end of single whip, the first thing I want to do is get my feet facing parallel, so both toes pointing forward. Then I'm going to actually, because I was in a bow step with some channel in there, the feet are actually offset. We've got one foot sort of on this position and the other foot's out in front a little bit. So when I take my first step, I've got to bring it back in to make it on the same lane and parallel. Now from here, I'm going to then shift my weight over to the right foot and step wider. And notice, as I think we've talked about before, that my feet were already separated. So I don't step all the way together. They're about shoulder width, or a narrow shoulder width when I step together, and a wide, almost double shoulder width when I step apart. Good. Each time I take that step, I'm also turning with the waist. So as I step out, I'm going to turn the waist in that direction. I step in, and now I'm sort of in a central, closer sort of central axis, and I turn in the opposite direction. Then step out, shift over there, turning in that direction, step in, etc. We've covered that before. Here's what's new. Each time I take a step, either in or out, I not only shift the weight onto that foot, but I also sink down. I get really low into that position. So I feel like I'm sort of what we call sinking and rooting on one foot. It is also what I call the trough of the movement, like out in the ocean. The waves come in troughs and swells. The swell is a motion that rises up, and a trough is a motion that sinks down. So here I am sinking down before I step. Now, there is a swell as I do the turn and shifting, but then before I step, another trough. Step out, there's the swell of the movement, then a trough as I step in. One more time. Stepping out, sink down, step in. Now on the third step, there's going to be a foot change here, but we're going to wait till tomorrow's lesson to cover that one. All right, here we go. Once again, let's take a look at what the hands are doing. Now, from the end of grasping the bird's tail, the hands sort of flatten. They do this little sort of wave in the air here from the push to the flat. But then as they drift to the side here, they're a little bit bent at the wrist and a little bit fingers up towards the corner, like you were, next time you're in the ocean or in the pool or in the bath, you know, just kind of wave your hands this way and see how they sort of float side to side. That's what the fingers are doing here at the wrist, all the way. Then they point straight out there, coming back in. Now when we did Fair Lady Works at Shuttles, I talked about the fact that this is actually drawing a big circle, big sort of flat horizontal circle. And the circle goes out away from you, turns the corner, comes back in closer to you, and then out away from you again for the hook. Single whip. Right. Now here's a new part. Notice that my left hand is palm out here, bent at the wrist, fingertips pointing up. It's going to stay that way as I begin the wave hands like clouds. The palm is still facing out. I drop the hook and scoop under with the right hand, and the palm on the left is still facing out till it's in the corner. So it's basically done this whole wipe across, wipe back, sort of like cleaning off the window. Wipe across, wipe back, and then it will drop for its turn at a cloud hand. Right? One more time, let's take a look at how that happens. The body shifts back and the hand goes across to the corner, the hook drops and the right hand comes across. There's the palm still out there. Then I have the palm change. Turn. Now again, once I hit the corner, the right hand will now turn palm out and press down, coming across. The left hand turns palm out like it was before, press down, and then after the third step, we go into single whip. Very nice. Now, let's talk about this whole internal thing. So this waist turning 45, 90, etc., this is what we call the external. This is the outside portion, right? The physical manifestation, the movement, the physical piece. On the inside, however, there's something else going on. And in yesterday's lesson, I talked about the fact that there is a series of underlying principles. And one of the reasons for these underlying principles is to get your body in a position where the chi energy can circulate better. Right? That inner human energy has to circulate around the body in order to get the health benefit, in order to get the longevity benefit. Right? And so I do things like focus on, forget the hands and the feet, just how's the spine, how's the head, how are the eyes? How about letting my chest relax and not open up too heavy? That's another principle we focus on. Right? Forgetting the external, just working on the internal. Because as I focus on these principles, that inner energy makes me healthier and happier and younger, right? But that's not the only meaning of internal when it comes to Tai Chi. There's another piece, and this other piece is what happens after you get good circulation. After you get good circulation, after all that's running in your body, the Chi actually begins to transform. The Chi actually begins to take on a new kind of vibration and become something we call Shen. Shen is like the flowering of Chi. Shen translates as spirit. And here we come to the big point about my whole rant this afternoon, and that is that the point about doing Tai Chi is to get to this moment of cultivation of Chi. What happens after you've learned your form? What happens after you've perfected the external movements? What happens after you get good at Chi flow is you become a more spiritual person. You literally have done your Tai Chi for the moment when you become better at being a human being. Specifically, you are more compassionate. You are more benevolent to those who are lesser and weaker and not in as good a position as you. You become more authentic in who you are and how you present yourself to the world. You become a better person. And not just because you think, oh, it's good to be a better person, but because the cultivation of the Chi inevitably leads you into that place. That is the real internal meaning of Tai Chi, and that is the point of doing it. I mean, really, who cares if your dance looks lovely? It's fun, it's beautiful, but what does it give the world back? What gives something back to the world is when you become a better and better person. And that's, for me, the real reason for doing Tai Chi. Anyway, that's our lesson for the day. Thank you, and thanks Tom Conley for the question that brought up this whole three-part series about what comes after the movements. If you've got a question, I won't necessarily do a three-part series on it, but I'll try to answer your questions for you. So if you've got a question about Tai Chi or Tai Chi technique or movements or philosophy, history, etc., write it down there in the comment section below, and I will answer your question, maybe even bring it into a video lesson. That would be awesome. If this is your first time on this channel, I'm hoping that by this time you're saying to yourself, hey, I know I jumped in the middle, but this doesn't look too bad. I could learn Tai Chi at home, especially if it's with this guy, David-Dorian, because he has some interesting things to say. Anyway, I hope that you feel that way. And if you do, all you've got to do is subscribe, push that subscribe button and get started with the lessons, because I've got a lot more lessons where this one came from. In tomorrow's lesson, what we'll be doing is talking about another single whip, which is what comes after wave hands like clouds. Until then, have a great evening. Light is fading. Hope that you have a wonderful morning, and I'll see you in tomorrow's lesson.
Baby, coming home. She didn't say when, she didn't say when, but at least I got her on the